Right, g'day internet. I suppose this is like episode 6 of actual construction videos on Simply Builds a Micro Capsule House thing, or whatever the fuck I'm calling this. So it should hopefully actually be a quick video. We're just in the middle of doing stuff and I want to get back to it. But we're installing the windows I talked about. So recap, we've got a foam box around the couch unit there. Also somewhere around, actually on top in there's some brown stuff. That's the couch covers that it turned out there was some newer ones to replace the ones it's currently got. So got some neat ones. I want black ones eventually because I like black stuff, but yeah, nice new brown ones is cool too. That's our door panel, which basically pops in place at the moment, leaving a gap at the top for a bit of ventilation and whatnot. That will probably have actual mechanical vents in it when it's eventually finished being built. And we've showed the interior and what's going on with that, such as it is already. So we've got two of our windows in here. These are just the frames with some cover sheet plastic from the packaging and tape just covering the gap and sort of just tacking them in place at the moment. They're a push fit into the wall. Just before I install the third one, I thought we'd better show you a video of how this is actually done. So here's our picture frame with a bit of tape and plastic over the front of it. The rear section and all of the backing and bits and pieces that are inside the packet there, and the all important glass that's in the front have been removed. It's all stacked up over at the end on the roof there. And in here we've just got very roughly hacked out recess, which I'll show you in a minute. We mark out like this. So the red line's the exterior edge of the frame, so we cut just inside that. But first we cut this measurement out, and this is the interior edge of the frame. So that's just a little bit less than the dimensions of the glass. So basically when we're doing this, we just get a knife and hack a circular section out of here to get a hole through the wall, and then trim up to that line as square as I can. Not really doing it properly or anything, just with a knife. Go along there. Then we recess in on the red line to the depth of the frame. Chop, 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 all along that line. And then we go in this way and that way and that way and that way, and end up hacking in, as you can see, a little recessed lip here. It doesn't have to be particularly accurate. All this gets glued and filled and stuff later anyway. It just has to have some elements of it that are a tight fit with the edge of the frame. Forthwith, get Mr. Frame, line them up on the bottom edge there, push them into place, tab, tab, tab. Let's put my elbow on that one. The camera. Push, push, push. And this one, by the looks of it, still has, push that in, and it lifts out there and push that in. So I'd say somewhere along the middle here, there's some material that needs to be removed so I can get that to fit flush. Once I do, get our little pins here, and we just shove them in on angles just a wee way into the foam just to hold the frame in place. We go around the other side, inside, with the knife, and we push through to, just pop this back out again. That's why we don't have the glass, in case we drop the frame. With the knife we're able to cut down to this lip, which as you can see is less than the black line that I showed you before. It's just a bit in, and that's the recess that allows the glass to sit in there. So we cut flush straight into the back of the back edge of the frame here, all the way around the edge, and then as you can see on the inside here, bog it up messily. Who gives a shit for now? Get it in place, tape it on, and move on to the next one. So we've just got fabric plastic, or loose thin film plastic windows at the moment. But it is starting to let light into the space, which is good. So it's a bit less dim in there and shit. We can kind of see how we're going to have this ring of windows around the top edges there. As you can see at the other end, I've already discovered that polystyrene walls are awesome because you can just whack toothpicks into them and then hang cables and crap off the wall. Or pin up art or whatever else. So yeah, anyway, I'll clean up some of these windows edges a little bit when I come around to painting and stuff, but I've already realized that basically we're only going to spackle clean it, like just put bits of bog in, and sort of roughly, as you can see, those edges aren't square as fuck, reasonably square, hacked in with a knife. When I'm done, the interior, at least for now, will look kind of like it's kind of a rusticy, spackly plaster job, sort of Tuscany villa style, so yeah. Which is another way of saying there's some flash words over top of I couldn't be fucked finishing and doing fit and finish properly, because I never can. What I'm actually going to do for my actual interior is just graffiti all over the walls. I've always wanted to do that. Practically every art kid does, and you never really get the chance to do so. So my walls are just going to have lots of my little digital designs and black magic sigils and random sketchy crap all over them, and every now and then we'll just repaint and keep doing it again and again and again with vivid markers and whatever else I like, plus pinning up art all over the walls and shit. So the inside will look very, very busy once I'm done. But lots of my usual artwork on white paper, so we still get that reflectivity out of the walls, which is great for light and all of the rest of it. Exterior, we'll go black for now, and if I end up using a bush site, then we'll respray that black with awesome camouflage paint stuff, and probably add some what's that twig fencing stuff you can get called, it's just, yeah, brushwood fencing to the exterior and the roof, just to help camouflage the whole thing, and yeah, do stuff that we've basically done before in forests and things like that, with tarpaulins and spray camouflage and all the clever fun stuff. Although for now it is actually looking like I may have some options for just another backyard spot that I can use that isn't under a patio like this, and therefore has access to light, and is in a slightly still in Littleton, but in a slightly better positioned part of the valley. If we look up here, I am currently facing about south. Oh, that's accurate, south there. So directly behind me is north, which is a giant hill and lots of houses and stuff on the way to said hills, which are very much like these ones you can see across the bay there. And yeah, so the sun goes down over that end behind some hills and comes up over this end behind some hills. So you get very limited sun during the day, especially in winter, because the declination angle of the sun's up there somewhere at the moment. So it's the declination angle of the sun in winter almost puts it like sort of behind the hills all the way through almost. So yeah, you get like, they shade a lot of stuff and you get very limited patches of sun. But if I go over that way where I might be able to, it's the easterly side of the valley, and that means that it gets good sun for most of the day when I'm up, like later in the day, and evening sun, which is more critical for me, and also gives you stronger value sun, I find, especially in this kind of terrain. So when it's not cloudy, you're more likely to get good value sun between sort of 10 a.m. in the morning and kind of 4 in the afternoon, which is over this arc, than you are between, say, earlier in the morning and 12 noon or something, when it's the morning sun side. So I'd prefer, if possible, to be over this side of Littleton, where you get all of that end of day sun. When the sun's actually out today, it's very cloudy, so it's basically irrelevant. Anyway, so that's the window thing I talked about. As mentioned, I think in a previous video, we have gone back to sort of halfway our original idea, which was using these cheap frames from the warehouse. Rubbish blowing off the roof and everything. I think these ones, the larger ones, I got 3 of them, 1 for the end and 1 for each side. Cost me about I think $8 each. And then these ones here were $3 each. So really, really cheap. If you want to do double glazing, I'm not bothering for now, but if you want to do double glazing, you buy 2 frames for each window you want to do, and then you put your first sheet of glass in here where it recesses, run a bead of glue, and then tack another piece of glass in place. I'm not entirely sure how I'm actually going to hold the pieces of glass in for now. Obviously you've got the wee tabs here. I don't know if you can see that in the camera. There's a little middle, now you can see it, middle tab there that just bends over and usually holds, you can see it on this side, usually holds the backing and the glass and everything into place as one sandwich against that internal lip just here. So obviously I can use them to hold my glass in, but then my glass has got all these little awkwardly placed tabs everywhere holding everything in place, and it won't look that cool, but now it'll work. We'll give it a shot. But yeah, in all likelihood I'll use acrylic sealant or hot glue or something like that that'll neatly hold the windows in place against this little frame edge. Run a wee bead around the back there, and then it can be peeled out and remove the window if we get a breakage or we want to change something around, or double glaze it or whatever else. Also obviously I could just run double-sided tape lines all along these inner edges here of the lip, and then actually double-side tape the window in place. I'm not sure how well that would hold in a directly front-on wind that was trying to blow that window in through the frame though. So yeah, I don't know, maybe we'll experiment with a few of those options. But there you go, that's windows in progress. I want to get back to doing it, because if I keep at this I might actually be able to get them all in today before it gets dark. So you all have a good one, and I'm sure we'll be back again soon with more lunacy of me building something to live in out of foam and random stationary supplies. Hooray.